As you go into this experience with Desmond, is it different for you? Did it feel different having gone through that before?
Not really. For me, it's not different. It just, I guess it had subsided, all that type of excitement.
Mm-hmm.
But now, it's kind of bringing back, memories of what we did with Marcus when he went in the league. And like you said, it's like deja vu, but it's just as exciting. And I'm feeling the same way I felt back then. Real happy for him that he's, accomplished what he's tried to do this far,
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I guess after 10 years of football, it just next, yeah.
And you mentioned, Mrs. Trufant, that Desmond was 10 years old when Marcus went to the NFL.
Yeah.
As he grew up and saw his brother and then brothers doing what he obviously wanted to do, when did that kind of kick in for him? And he said, okay, this is my path, this is my goal. Because you said he was athletic, but when did that kind of focus in?
I think, well, he'll have to answer it, but I'm thinking maybe in high school, but maybe it was middle school because he was athletic also. He played basketball.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't play football in middle school because they didn't have a football team. So that's what I'm thinking. Possibly.
He did flag football.
High school, he played a lot of good flag football because we were always there with him. In the elementary, track and baseball and soccer, and then in middle school, the basketball and the flag football, and a little baseball again, and then of course high school track, football, and basketball.
And then Marcus and Desmond both went to Wilson High in Tacoma?
Yeah, they all went to Wilson. All three, and they were all coached by Coach Clegg.
Wow.
And actually, Coach Clegg, a very humble story is that he said he was going to wait to retire until Desmond got to Wilson. And this was when Marcus was drafted.
Oh, really?
Right. So he said he was going to wait until Desmond came to Wilson so that he can have all three Trufant boys under his belt as being a coach.
You were 10 when Marcus was drafted, your mom said. As Marcus went through the league and did all the things that he's done, a lot of accomplishments, how did that factor into, A, your decision to play football, and B, your knowledge of the game and what you learned as you went along? How much did your brother influence you on the field and just personally?
A lot of influence. I always wanted to play football, though, when I was young, and I played a lot of sports when I was young, basketball, ran track, things like that, but, really seeing my brother go first round, be drafted, and playing in my home state, and watching him for 10 plus years, it definitely motivated me to want to play football.
Yeah. And Marcus, as you saw him come up, when did he really hit your radar as a football player?
Well, I guess to be honest, it was kind of one of those things, I'm 10 years older, so, we're outside in the backyard, we're doing our thing, we're playing sports with the neighborhood kids and stuff like that, and of course you got Des, he's trying to jump in the game, and he's not quite keeping up, but he's doing his thing, he's doing the same thing that everybody else is doing, he's shake and bake, and not only on the football field, like in the grass in the backyard, but on the basketball court as well, he's able to do his thing, so as he grew up and went through school, elementary school, middle school, high school, he was always a standout. Mm-hmm. So, as a person who went through that, who kind of did the same thing, I kind of seen Des kind of rising above everybody and kind of separating himself from the crowd.
In the athletic and personal temperament, and this is a question for both of you, how are they different? How are especially Marcus and Desmond, the 10 years later, how are they different, just as people, just as kids?
Different, I guess. They do have sort of different personalities. And I think that came about because the closeness of Isaiah and Marcus, they kind of grew up together. And they was kind of out of the way when Des came along. So he, I guess he was, a little bit stronger because he was independent. You know, and he was that guy who wanted to do everything on his own. And I think that made him stronger. He didn't want to piggyback on his brothers, what they did and all of that. But they do have different personalities. That I will vouch for that.
And then, of course, I mean, and you mentioned not wanting to piggyback, but if you're Desmond, I mean, Isaiah's been at Wilson, or Isaiah's been there, Marcus has been there, and now here comes the third guy. I mean, did he ever express to you that, wow, the expectations are high, or did he feed off that, or how did that affect him, or did it affect him at all? Was he just able to shake it off and go?
I think he fed off of it, and he always was proud of his brothers for their accomplishments, and he wanted to go out there and work and accomplish what they did, or even more. But it wasn't to the point of sibling rivalry, but it was like, okay, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna do my thing too. And that's what he did.
How are you, since Marcus, you have the more football experience, how are you different as players? When you kind of scout yourself and scout Desmond, how are you guys different? Just as cornerbacks. Well, this is where the hard questions
differences, I guess first I'll start with the similarities. I see a lot of similarities as far as the aggressiveness on the field. Des is a very competitive player on the field and off the field as well. Just simple stuff like on the basketball court during the holidays and stuff like that. When we get together, he's just as competitive then as he is on the court. I mean, on the football field. But yeah, he's a little bit more fiery than I am, I would say, on the field. Maybe talks a little bit more trash, but sometimes that's just how it works. Players are different, but it's all about the same goal. It's all about how you get yourself ready to play. And me, I may be a little quieter, but Des may be a little bit more, I would say, boisterous about what he's doing on the field. But it's all about getting to the same goal, all about making plays and making it happen and having fun. But yeah, I think it's a lot of similarities, footwork, speed, and tackling, just being a well-rounded corner. I think that's what we both bring to the table.
Now, I have watched the Seahawks since you came into the league. I've seen you bark at people. I'm just saying.
Like I said, it's always good fun, man. I do a little bit as you get into the game, but I think Des even takes it a step above, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Had to be a pretty competitive household, though. You got 3 boys, and they're all,
Yeah, it was more competitive with Isaiah, because Marcus was kind of away in college and stuff, but and Isaiah didn't back down on him, and so I think that's where Desmond got a lot of toughness and going ahead and doing things in spite of how hard it was. Because in basketball they was very competitive. They would race with each other and was very competitive, but nobody ever said, "I'm gonna give you a break, Desmond, because you're the younger brother."
Right.
It's like, we're gonna go full speed. You come on with us. So I think that's where that go get to it attitude came from.
Was more almost expected of Desmond because of kind of the history and the litany and that legacy?
I think that we had heard some of that through the media, that they was thinking Desmond had all these shoes to fill. And Desmond made it a point that he was going to do his own thing, and he didn't want no special treatment because of his brothers. He wanted to earn what he accomplished out there, not just because he's Marcus and Isaiah's little brother that you're going to get special privileges. And he didn't want it like that.
Yeah.
And he went out and he said, I'm going to do my own thing, and because that was their thing, this is my thing now,
Yeah. I've been watching you during Senior Bowl week in Mobile. We talked a little bit there. It was pretty clear that you had just the most practiced and kind of finished technique as far as your back pedal, your turn and run, jumping routes, things like that. It stood out and it was mentioned a lot. How do you get from, I know you went to API after Washington. When did you feel like it really locked in for you technique-wise? Obviously, the NFL's the next step. There are different things to learn. But when you went to Mobile, did you feel like, not like I've got this on lockdown, but how confident were you that it was going to turn out the way it did?
I think from the first day, you know. Well, first I got to give credit to my position coaches at University of Washington. Dante Williams, he was my corners coach my senior year, and we really worked on technique a lot in the summer. You know, just being patient, slowing my game down, just refining the little things. You know, and I have to give a lot of credit to him. But yeah, once I got to Mobile, you know, once I seen the competition and I seen the first set of one-on-ones, you know, my confidence just shot up because, you know, I just continued to do what they taught me at University of Washington. I didn't change up. I didn't try to make up something new. I just did what I've been doing and was confident with it, and it worked.
Marcus, when you came into the league in 2003, it was a very heavy cover 2, Tampa 2. I mean, obviously, you know, this playing in Seattle, a lot more press, certainly on your team.
Right. Yeah.
How is the NFL different? How are defenses played differently than when you came in? What does he have to look forward to in that regard?
Well, first off, I think what he doesn't have, he can't look forward to, I guess. You know, the game has changed a little bit as far as the physicality of the league with your hits and
which
stuff
has been
like that.
eliminated pretty much.
Yeah, so you can't do a lot of the certain stuff you could do when I first came into the league, the hits and the celebrations after the hits over guys and all that kind of stuff. You know, they've been scaling back on that every year. So I think the things he has to look forward to is just the fun of the game, the fun nature of the game. After you break it down, it's still going out and playing football. It's a little bit more complex as far as X and O's, but it's still football. So I know he's going to have a blast, and it doesn't really matter what team he goes to. It's going to be fun, and he's going to pick it up just like that, because after you get through the nerves and, okay, I'm in the NFL now, It's just football.
Desmond, how much of those nerves are maybe mitigated a little bit by the fact that you have a brother who's been, well, 2 brothers. I mean, we haven't even talked about Isaiah yet,
Right.
which we will in a second. Because you have the rare opportunity to talk to people and sort of live the NFL through the guys who have been there, how much do you think that'll help you?
Helped me a lot, you know. Like you said, there's going to be some new things that I'm not used to, or things, you know, I might take the wrong way or whatever, you know, and I can just ask him for advice or ask him what would he do or what has he been through his career. So it's definitely a plus to have that. But, you know, whatever happens, I'm going to just, whichever team I go to, I'm going to just work hard, just take everything in stride, try to learn as much as possible, and just go have fun.
It's obviously more important to you that they're good people as opposed to good football players, and that seems to be the case in all three of, you know, with all 3 of these guys. Marcus is a solid guy. He's got his foundation, which you, Mrs. Trufant, run. As you look back on it now, having raised them, Marcus, having been in the NFL for now 11 years, Isaiah's in, Desmond's coming in. How does it feel, just maybe reflect on that decade, and now it's just starting over again? I mean, there's pride, of course, but how does that make you both feel, just to know that it's been this way?
It makes me feel thankful. First of all, I said, you know, I'm very thankful and proud, and you know, just happy. You know, just happy for him. And it's like, wow, you know, I don't kind of like doing anything so much special or extraordinary from anyone else, except for, you know, it's just, I think they had a God-given talent, all of them, and it came in threes, and, you know, so that's why I said, okay, this is a good thing. This is a really good thing. So thankful, grateful, and thankful for God, and just feel blessed.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
And you, sir?
Basically, the same thing. I'm, you know, proud of them because of the effort they put out, and they set out to do something and they did it.
Yeah.
You know, that's big time for me. If you say you're gonna do it, do it. You know, as I tell people all the time, when they first start out, all of them, when they was real little, when they just started getting affiliated with any sport, not even knowing it, they'll say, yeah, And when it's time to come to go to practice, somebody don't want to go to practice. No, you going to practice because you say you go do this. And that we instilled that in them when they were little boys. And now I see that paying off because when they know they got to go to work out, they got to go to the gym, they're going to be where they're supposed to be. And that's even with Marcus. And Isaiah, who's already there, you on a schedule. You got to be there. They want you there. They don't want to hear excuses. And we taught that to them, excuses just, that ain't good enough, you know. And it grows on the kids, and just to sit back and see that energy they put into doing their stuff, it makes me proud.
Yeah. Now, you were in Wazoo, Eastern Washington. You went to the Huskies, and how outraged were you about that, by the way?
I always tell people, man, I never wanted to push theirs to one school or the other. I just wanted him to make his own choice, make his own decision. Of course, McCool all the way to the core, so it was one of those things. I know he wanted to walk down his own path, and he wanted to be his own man, and he wanted to wanted to pave his own way. And I understand that he didn't want to go to Washington State, but I had already did my thing. He wanted to start fresh and start new, so that was cool.
And then we have Isaiah, who is not only the middle kid, but went to school in the middle of the state.
Exactly.
I don't know how much more representative this can be. And that's an interesting situation because he's in the NFL, but went to a smaller school, didn't have the same sort of high profile, but he got there too. Does that come up, that sort of difference in profile? Have you guys talked about that? Does it mean something to him that he's maybe, not that anyone has more impetus or imperative to get or stay in the league, but it's almost like that different thing where you were a first round pick, you probably will be, he wasn't. Does that affect him at all?
I wouldn't think so. I think his course to the NFL was so much harder. He had to do so much more and put so much more just fight into it. Playing in the Arena League, playing in the UNFL. Those are tough leagues, man. I've been to a couple of his games when we playing in the Arena, and that's a crazy game. And I don't know if I got that in me. So.
Now, are there any more Trufants that the NFL has to worry about? Anyone?
We got two little boys. Isaiah got two boys, but they're young.
Okay, so maybe 10 or 15 years from now, we gotta do this all over again.
I might be pushing a wheel in a wheelchair, so I get to see them play because they all doing the same thing. I see the same thing in my grandkids. The activity,
that drive.
Drive. So hopefully they'll come on and do something too.
Yeah.
Because actually, Isaiah's wife. She had a little T-shirt for the oldest little boy. She just sent me a picture, and it says like the next NFL drafted player. And it's like, okay. And so I'm doing the math. I said, okay, 20 years. We're still young enough to be here for that. Yeah.
So 2003, 2013, so 2033.
Oh, wow. See? I didn't put that into perspective.
We'll all just do it all over again.
Yep, that would be great.
Well, thanks very much.